welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you're new. I'm gonna do the rest of my February wrap up. So I didn't get to everything I wanted to in February, unfortunately, but I did. It's kind of a lame wrap up. It's really 2 books and like half of a book, so whatever. So one book that I finished was The Magic of Thinking Big by David Schwartz. It was a book that I was reading in the mornings because I like to read inspirational books in the morning to start my day. I love this book so much. There were so many good points to it. Things that stick out to me are like not being small-minded in that, like, at your job sometimes a decision's made that affects you, and they give an example of these 3 men all got like promotions and they all got offices at this workplace, but one guy's office was like the slightest bit smaller and it had nothing to do with him. It was just like that office just happened to be smaller. It was randomly assigned, but he got into his head that it was like something crazy to do with him, and then his work suffered and he ended up getting fired because of just some small-minded thing as opposed to just like doing his job because it's just an office. Something like that. Like, I feel like all the time, like especially with acting, like you get into your head like oh, this is done for like a certain reason, but like often it's like not personal at all. So that was a really cool point. Another thing that I got from this that I remembered this last time I read this book, and it's good to have reread it, is to always like kind of go to the front of the room. Like in yoga, I tend to go to the back because I like don't want to be seen and whatever, but then when I go in the front, like there's so much more space in the front because people are scared. Like there's so much more space at the top of like a profession and a field because people are scared to get there, and B, like, you know, it kind of makes you perform better because you're being watched, you're like in the front, so it kind of like doesn't allow you to slack off. So I really liked that. The only criticism I really have is that this book was legit made in like the 50s. I think it was written like, I want to say 1956. I might have totally made that up. 1959 was when it was first written. So there's a little bit of like the men going to work, the women staying home. So there's a little bit of that, and there's legit this passage that says, perhaps the most unpleasant household task to most women is washing dishes. My mother's no exception, but she's mastered a mechanical approach to dispensing with this task quickly so she can return to things she likes to do. And I was like, oh. Like when I read that, I was just like, I almost like threw up in my mouth a little bit. So like stuff like that, like if you were to read this book, you would have to just kind of like peruse that and like just remember that it was written in a different time. It did bother me, so that's why I would like only rate this like a 7 out of 10, just because like there's just so much of that, and I know it's like just a result of when it was written, but it's still like really annoying. But besides that, like there were so many good points to be made and just to like apply in life, and I recommend that book super hard. The other book I read was Thunderhead. It was the second book in the Scythe series. Neal Shusterman. I like really love this series a lot. There's just so much. I'm sad there's actually not a 3rd book right now because I just like want to know what else happens. It's just a super cool dystopian world where we've conquered death, and these scythes are like the only people who can like kill people just to like keep the population you know, under control, and they do it like kind of how it would be on Earth, like, you know, statistics wise and whatever. I think in general I liked the first book more. There was just a lot of added elements in this book that did end up coming together in the end, but I'm not sure if I was like as swept away with it in this book, but I still really enjoyed it a lot. It was just like, there was like a lot going on, and I think the 3rd book will probably like bring all that together even more, but I think he was setting up a lot in this book. They set up this new character, Grayson, who became an integral part of the story, and he like goes through this whole journey in the book, and then like I did think that they forgot about him at the end because like so much happens, and like you kind of think like they came to a close on Grayson's story, but it didn't feel like a close on it. Like I was kind of like, oh okay, that's it. And then at the very end, I don't want to ruin it, but like I was just like, oh, okay, let's not forget about him. So that was really cool. Oh, and also like in the Scythedom, like, you know, they do these conclaves where they all come together a few times a year, and there's like this huge division between like the old way of thinking and the new way of thinking. It was just super interesting to like read it and watch it unfold, because it reminds me so much of modern day politics, and it was just very interesting. It was super yeah, it was really cool. I totally recommend it. And then I think like just another like I really enjoyed it, but I cry so easily. Like if the slightest thing is sad in a book, like I typically cry. And without giving anything away, a character dies in this, which like makes sense because it's about death. But a character dies in this, and I felt like I should have been more upset about this character dying. I won't say who it is, but like I read it and they died, and I was just kind of like, okay. Like I just didn't care, like, which I thought was weird because I was just so invested and involved in this book, so it was weird to me that I wasn't so invested or involved that a character dying just didn't matter to me. So that was something that was like another thing. I don't know like what that means exactly, but I really like the story and I really like the world, but I'm not sure if like the characters, like I'm engaged enough with them. So like for all that, I'd probably give this like a 7 out of 10. I still really enjoy it. I think it's such a cool concept, and like I really want to know what happens next, so I'm really excited for book 3. Yeah, that's it. And then the last book, I'm like about halfway through it, like I said in my TBR for March, but it's Jane Eyre, Charlotte Bronte. I really love this so much. It's just so beautiful. It's beautifully written, and there's a passage in it, so like I usually kind of like dog-ear pages that I want to go back to, but I like don't want to dog-ear this book because it's so pretty. But there's like just something that I came across, which I probably won't be able to find, but there's just kind of like this like whole little passage where it's like from the perspective of Jane Eyre in the first person, and there's just like this little passage about how she said that like women aren't allowed to like feel certain emotions the way men are, and it's just this kind of passage like kind of talking about the inequality of men and women, and I just thought that was so like, you know, I'm sure this is obviously something that's been going on for years and years and years, and I just thought it was like in just this novel that was written so long ago, like Charlotte Bronte was already like kind of like noticing these huge, I mean, I'm sure it's always noticed, but I love how she like noticed it and then like put it into her writing, how there's just such a difference between how men and women are treated, and I just like maybe just love it so much. Yeah, so I'm really excited to continue reading this. Yeah, I'm about halfway through. I think it's like 500 pages ish, and I'm on like 250. So yeah, it's really nice. So yeah, it's kind of like a lame I didn't really do much the like second half of February. February is such a short month. Like all of a sudden it's like friggin' March, and I feel like I got nothing read and nothing done that I wanted to. So I'm hoping to read a lot more in March. I am doing a musical March series where I'm posting a Broadway song that I'm singing every day in March, so my time is even more limited than normal. But I'll link that playlist down below if you're interested in that at all. But yeah, thanks so much for watching, guys. This month I am doing videos every single day because of the songs, but I'm going to try to do like my more normal videos about 3 times a week if I can. But either way, there's going to be a video every single day, and I'd love if you subscribe below and hit the notification bell, and I will see you guys tomorrow.